It's time now for the Kill the Can podcast.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Kill the Can podcast. Doing some recording here on a Saturday morning. My wife and two of my kids are out of town. My middle son is in Toledo at a baseball tournament pitching. I'm actually going to head up there this afternoon. He is starting pitching this afternoon about 3:30, 4 o'clock. And so I got a quiet house this morning. My oldest son is working. My youngest son is off camping. So I've got a quiet house to myself this morning, and I'm going to knock out a podcast. Probably won't get it posted until maybe middle of next week. I kind of like to do Tuesday or Wednesday to release the podcast, which is again what I've been shooting for. If let me know, give me some feedback if that's good, bad, and different. Do you care? Are there a particular day of the week that you'd like to see the podcast released? Last Wednesday, if you follow me on TikTok, you know that it was the 18th anniversary of my quit date. And so as of today, I've been quit 18 years and a few days. And as I normally do, as I've been doing for the last, I don't know, probably 10 or 12 years, I have a little local watering hole, little local bar that I go to. And I just kind of sit and reflect. And I was able to reflect on, I'm able to reflect on my quit, able to honestly give thanks to the community, to the Kill the Can community that has helped me get to where I am in my quit. I'm eternally grateful. And, it's kind of cool. I'm now quit longer than I was a user. And that was kind of a big, when I started out, I remember thinking, man, like there's going to be a day where I'm quit longer than I was a user. And I don't exactly know what day that is. I'm actually going to try to find out, because I know I can find, if I can find out the football schedule of my high school football team in 1990, I can actually pinpoint the exact day that I had my very first dip. And once I can figure that out, I can do some math wizardry and, use my quit date and today and those kind of things and figure out exactly when I crossed that, in my opinion, pretty massive milestone of being quit longer than I was user. But I know it was sometime in this past year. So again, that Wednesday afternoon, I sat back and and I didn't post a ton actually on social media that day at all. Posted one video on TikTok, and I posted some thoughts to my personal blog, not to Kill the Can, but at this point in my life, it really is. It's more about the community than it is about me. It is more about the men and women that walk this walk with me on a daily basis to this day, posting role, whether it's on Discord or the forums or even just via text or chat or what have you. I just can't express my gratitude anymore. This is not about me at this point. This is about this community, and this is the community is what keeps me quit at this point. I love you all very much, and I really do appreciate it. It was also, as I've talked about on the podcast, the first anniversary of my father's death. He died a year ago on July 24th. He died of lung cancer. And so for those of you that have reached out and offered their sympathy and support even a year later, again, thanks to you. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot. And it made that day a little bit easier. So again, I really do appreciate it. Back this morning again. We're going to do some more commenting on social media. I've got quite a few YouTube comments to get to, so I figured I would. This has worked well the last couple episodes, and so I figured I'm going to give it another shot today. First comment today comes from the Hobby Connects. And he says, I just quit Zyn 5 days ago, and I've been so emotional and depressed. I pray that these feelings will subside soon. It's been tough. And here's what I can tell you. First of all, huge congrats on 5 days of freedom. In your case, from Zyn, and overall, though, from nicotine. Amazing accomplishment. And you're absolutely right. Emotions come into play here. Depression is very common when quitting nicotine. I can't tell you how many times I've heard a comment very similar to this. All I can tell you is continue to keep pushing forward. You're still in the very early stages of your quit. Those first, at least for me, those first 10, 12, 20 days, something like that, were absolutely brutal. And what I did that I felt worked very well for me was drink a ton of water. I mean, I was going through probably a gallon of water a day just to get my system flushed out. I was doing a lot of walking. I was doing a lot of running just to kind of, keep my emotions in check. And honestly, if you're not, I would suggest you dive into a support community. KillTheCan.org/Discord. Even though we're called Kill the Can, and we were founded on the premise of, hey, let's quit smokeless tobacco, the reality is Zyn and the nicotine associated, that's what we're addicted to. We are all addicted to nicotine. And so that community is all about battling our addiction to nicotine. You do not have to go through this alone. Keep fighting. Congratulations on 5 days of freedom. You got this, man. I know you can do it. This next comment I love. It's from Eric Dykeman 547, and he says, I never used any tobacco products in my life. What truly deterred me from dipping was learning about Sean Marcy in middle school. Sean Marcy, for those of you that don't know, is a gentleman that got cancer of the, I believe, mouth and throat due to his smokeless tobacco use. And he died a very painful death. Sean was an athlete. He was, one of the strongest guy you'll ever know, right? And to see him kind of wither away due to smokeless tobacco and cancer was really kind of heartbreaking. I had the opportunity back in 2011, Kill the Can attended the National Smokeless Summit in Austin, Texas. And even though it's called the National Smokeless Summit, it's actually an anti-smokeless tobacco conference. And we attended that conference just as a vendor. And again, we weren't selling anything. We were really kind of selling our services, for lack of a better term. And I think I've told this story before, but I remember at the time I walked up and I was talking to one of the speakers, and I introduced myself. I said, hey, I'm Chewy. I'm from Kill the Can. And he said, oh, I know you guys. As if Kill the Can was something like this rogue organization. And I said, well, so we started chatting a little bit, and I kind of giggled and laughed. And I asked the guy, I said, oh, how long did you chew for? And he said, oh, I never did. I said, oh, okay. I said, how long did you smoke for? He said, no, I never did. And I continue to get that similar answer over and over and over again from almost all of these people that were at this conference. And I learned very quickly that this is really when it kind of crystallized in my head that a lot of the people, a lot of the organizations in the anti-smoking, anti-tobacco movement are captured. And what I mean by that is they may be doing it for their mission might be correct, and it might be synonymous with the mission that we have at Kill the Can of helping people quit these products. But they're not coming at it from any sort of personal experience. And I found very quickly that a lot of those people were being funded by, at the time, it was Nicorette and Nicoderm and those kind of products, those NRT products, which if you kind of get involved with the Kill the Can community, you will realize that we don't particularly agree with those products. And I can talk about that at a different time, but I've digressed a little bit. So, anyways, at this conference, I had the opportunity to meet Sean Marcy's brother, and his name is Jason Marcy. And he went and he told Sean's story firsthand. He told the story of how his brother died at the age of 19 due to cancer caused by smokeless tobacco. And if you want to watch the video of that presentation, it's actually on the site. It's called search for the Sean Marcy story told firsthand. And it really is a powerful story to see somebody recount his experience with his brother dying from cancer due to smokeless tobacco. And I can't even begin to tell you how many times I have gone back and reread Sean's story and rewatched Jason's presentation about Sean's story. And it is one of those things that even 18 years later into my quit, it continues to motivate me to this day. Yeah, I really appreciate this comment because it brought Sean Marcy's story back to the forefront, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you for the comment. Next comment comes from USMC Jarheads 3584. First of all, thank you for your service, sir. My sincere appreciation. He responds, he says, bro, I'm going to try now. For fuck's sake, I'm losing my mind 1990, which is in reference, I believe, to the time of day. First of all, you, sir, can do this. You are a Marine. You are the baddest of the baddest. Again, thank you for your service. You can do this. The one thing I would suggest is change the way you are thinking about and talking about your quit, even if it's in your mind. Change your vocabulary. You're not going to try to do this. You're not hoping this is the last time. You're not hoping for success. You can do this. Don't hope, don't try, don't say if. Replace those words with will, can, when. When I quit. I know I can quit. I will quit. Don't talk about the last time. Don't talk about your last attempt. Quit is final. Take dip off your mind. It's not an option. Period. End of story. Once you grasp that, once you grasp that concept, things will get easier. They won't be easy, but they'll be easier. I know by the fact that you're a Marine, I know what a badass you are, and I know that you can do this. As silly as it sounds, let me know how I can help. I will be honored to walk this quit path with you. Thank you. So these next two comments are actually in response to a comment that I made on the last episode of the podcast. So if you recall, Kurt Cobain's said, I never smoked a cigarette, but I want to start doing Zen. And I responded and I said, I'd urge you to steer far, far away. The overwhelming majority of people that use these products develop an addiction to them, even if there are benefits of using nicotine. And I put benefits in quotes. Once you become addicted to it, the downsides quickly outweigh the benefits. And Vivalda Money responded to my response and said, Zyn and its competitors have given me an addiction that's by far the hardest I've ever had to quit. And that includes alcohol. Steer far, far away, as he said. My quality of life and memory have deteriorated more than I thought possible, and I still use to this day. Don't do it. So this is a current Zyn user telling a potential Zyn user not to do it. Not how awesome it is, not, oh, I love the fix, blah, blah, blah. They're saying, don't do it. So Kurt Cobain responds, he says, I bought a can about 2 weeks ago when I made this comment. I've just been putting it off because I'm really worried it's going to make me feel nauseous for hours or give me a panic attack the first time I try it. But at some point, I'm going to finally give in and pop an upper decky, a little Zenachino. Whether it's good or bad experience, I'll wait at least a week before trying it again. And again, I believe I talked about on the last podcast, I I can only assume that Kurt Cobain's is being a troll, and I probably shouldn't bother continuing and respond, but I will only, and again, I'm talking about on the podcast here. Let's say for the argument of this conversation that Kurt Cobain's is not just trolling and he's legit, like he's 100% truthful and sincere in his comments here. And if he is, then I feel really bad for him because he is, it sounds like, genuinely curious about products such as Zyn. And he is wanting to understand and wanting to get the experience of having a vice. And all I can say to that is while I can understand the curiosity, I would once again say what I said in the original comment. I would urge you to steer far, far away, because once you get your curiosity satisfied, I'm very concerned that you're going to be left with an addiction to a product that, had you steered clear to begin with, you wouldn't have to deal with the addiction. And that's, I guess I'm going to have to leave it at that. Next comment is from Secondhand Legs, and they're responding. I made a video. I had been off TikTok for, I don't know, probably a month and a half. And I basically just made a quick video, said, hey, it's been a minute, but I'm back. And I was talking about how busy my summer has been with travel baseball, travel basketball, kids and those kind of things. And they said, summers with kids are long summers. They're great summers, but so much to do. Congrats on keeping out of the can. I've got almost 4 years, no cigs. We got this. And again, I wanted to thank you for this comment. Congratulate you on 4 years of freedom on your own right. That is amazing. And you know what? Hey, you're right. Summers are crazy, but they're awesome summers. In fact, I was sitting around the kitchen table with my wife not too long ago, about a month ago, and I said, we're going to blink and it's just going to be the two of us sitting here. And so I think we really need to kind of embrace the crazy, and that's what we've done. And we really, we really try to reflect on how much we have and how we are enjoying the busy in amidst the chaos. So appreciate this comment for reminding me once again that I really do have to appreciate all the chaos that I've got going on. Appreciate the comment. So I told myself that I wasn't going to respond on the podcast to this particular video. It's one that I've talked about several times. It's titled "Sorry Your Boyfriend is Addicted to Zyn," but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for these two comments here. So the first one, and again, it's got a couple hundred comments on it at this point, and most of them are the Zyn folks piling on me for being fat. It's telling me how awesome Zyn is, et cetera, which is fine. So in this video, if you recall, I tell I think it's a woman, because she says she's got a video of her going around her place with all these empty Zyn cans everywhere, and I said, sorry to hear that your boyfriend is an addict, and that's literally what I said. So J Lawson 26 responded and says, addict is a rather strong word. And I will agree with that. Addict is a rather strong word. It is 100% the appropriate word to use in this case. Just because it's nicotine addiction don't downplay nicotine addiction is all I can say. And so, yes, addict is a strong word. And I use that word very purposefully. It is, nicotine addiction is nothing to shake a stick at. So, and then the other comment here comes from Josh H4T, and he said, finally got myself to realize what a dumbass I was for starting Zyn to quit smoking. Thought it had all that brain boost benefits, but no, it was a silent addiction that crept on me. Worst mistake. I went up on the Swedish snus about 35 milligrams of pouches. Took 2 months to cut down to 2 milligrams and now get finally nicotine free. I'm on day 4 and it's not that fun. So Josh, first of all, congratulations on 4 days of freedom at this point. Actually, you're leaving this comment 3 days ago. So congratulations on a week of freedom. Amazing accomplishment. And I really do appreciate this comment because, you know, while I talk about Zyn a lot and nicotine pouches, it's because it's the types of comments that I'm getting, but I can't really speak from any sort of personal experience with Zyn because I never used them. Zyn pouches didn't exist when I quit dipping or when I was using. So I can't speak with any sort of personal experience, again, outside of the fact that they contain nicotine. I was addicted to nicotine, those kind of things. But I really appreciate these kind of firsthand comments from people that are Zyn users or have quit Zyn and kind of corroborate what it is that I'm saying in terms of addiction to nicotine. So thank you for the comment. I sincerely do appreciate it. And massive congratulations on you yourself getting free from Zyn. Awesome accomplishment. I'm honored to walk this path with you. Next comment from BL7828. I've smoked cigarettes for years in college and dipped Copenhagen for years as well. I've never been more addicted to anything as I have with Zyn. It's crazy. LOL. And I highlight this because Zyn and tobacco product, these nicotine pouch products, really are addicting people. I haven't seen any research, but maybe even at a higher rate than smokeless tobacco does. And if I had to guess, I would say it's because they are cleaner. You don't have to spit. You can hide them a little bit better. They really are. They really are everywhere. And I think it's just really important to highlight just how addictive these products really are. Appreciate the comment. Going to wrap up the podcast with this one. Comment is from the Scratcher 2951, and they say the first time you use a Zyn, they really hit you hard, but if you keep doing it, you just get used to it. And the reality is, that is a typical addiction timeline. I really did not enjoy the first time I used smokeless tobacco, the first time I dipped. In fact, I can remember very vividly, wasn't the first time, but because the first time I used any nicotine was a Skull Bandit, wintergreen Bandit. I remember it like it was yesterday. But the first time I actually tried dip, it was Kodiak, and I was sitting in my basement. I was playing a video game, and I remember getting a buzz like nobody's business. And I was not very good at that point in keeping my dip packed, and so I had floaters all over the back of my mouth, and I was like gagging, and I just had shit running everywhere. And I remember going into the bathroom and spitting everything out and trying to clear out my mouth and this, that, and the other thing, and just going, God, like how stupid is this? This is really bad. But that wicked head buzz that I got led me back to that can for nearly 2 decades, and so. It's funny. I answered another question not too terribly long ago about what's so bad about nicotine. And again, I'm sure you've heard me say this on this podcast numerous occasions. There's this narrative out there that there's all these benefits of nicotine. And at this point, I'm not even arguing the benefits of nicotine. What I will say is if those quote unquote benefits of nicotine exist, as a nicotine addict, I can't enjoy them. And so what's so bad about nicotine? In addition to it being addictive, which is the huge, massive red flag in my mind, increased blood pressure and heart rate and all these other things. But again, it's addictive. And at this point in my life, I've battled too long and too hard, blood, sweat, and tears to get away from my addiction. And I'm never going back. Appreciate you joining me today on the podcast, Quitters. Hope you have a wonderful afternoon. We'll talk to you soon. I'm honored to be quit with you.
Join us again next time for another edition of the Kill the Can podcast.